Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland, this is for you.
What's going on, Cavs fans? Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Block the Shot the Stop. I'm Skylar Webker, and tonight I have, can I call you the Podfather?
If you
the
want.
Father of the Pod? Yeah. I have the Podfather, the OG, Tim Daniel. Tim, thank you for coming on tonight, and quite a fun game to talk about here in the Philly one. Not as fun for the Jazz game, though.
Yeah, man. Tonight's obviously a really fun night. These baseball series are so hard, but the Cavs did what they needed to do. You always want to go out there with at least a split, and the Cavs won the first one, so they have an opportunity now to sweep on Friday. It's gonna be tricky because Phil's gonna watch a lot of film on this game. So the adjustments Friday are going to be fascinating, and so I'm really excited to see how it plays out.
I am too. And before we get into this game, we can kind of go over the Jazz game, which was a lot to be lacking, to say the least.
Yeah, disappointing for sure.
Kind of just the theme of this Cavs season, just inconsistency up and down throughout. I mean, Utah came in after losing by 60 and kind of came in not ready not to lose again.
So I'm going to play this angle, and I know this is not the popular angle after this game, but I don't think this loss is really that big of a deal. It's not a good loss. I mean, it's not something we're like, but everyone, I mean, I saw on Jeff Teague's show, he's like, the Cavs need to blow it up. Everyone doing their typical Garland and Mitchell don't work together. I've seen it everywhere, but really, I mean, these happen. It's a dud. It sucks, but it doesn't erase the fact that they played really well. They won 7 of their last 11 going to that game. They've now won 8 of their last 13, counting tonight. So it's big picture, it's disappointing loss. They should have played better. Obviously, they shouldn't get outclassed by the Utah Jazz. But big picture, it's not that big of a deal. It just is a disappointing performance, and I thought the way they responded tonight was great, but give Utah credit. And you mentioned how they lost so big the night their game before. They didn't play anybody that game. They sat just about everyone out that game. I think like Kevin Love started at center that game. Nurkic was out, Lauri Markkanen was out. I think Keontae George was, like, if he played, it wasn't very much. But yeah, I mean, they came in tonight. I mean, they came into that game on Monday in Cleveland. They blitzed the hell out of them. Cleveland wins one of the 4 quarters. And I thought they were going to run away with the game. And then just, that third quarter, starting the second half, Utah just came out guns blazing, and they couldn't miss. They literally couldn't miss for about, I think they started this to the half like 8 for 8.
Yeah. You're right that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme. Like when you zoom out and you're 8 of your last 13 after the kind of the weird start of the season that you've got, you can see that this Cavs team is trending in the right direction. There were some things either in this game and just also the theme of the season are just like the inability to guard on the perimeter is really, really
bad.
Hard.
It's bad.
It's really hard to swallow when they're 30th in the league in 3-point percentage or opponent 3-point percentage.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're shooting like 23rd in the league by themselves. So
yeah.
I
mean, it's getting better because they were
getting better.
30th. So that is getting better, but the perimeter defense, and then coming out of this game, a lot of storylines around DeAndre Hunter kind of either wanting out or it's Clutch is doing their kind of moves that they do on the NBA. And then I've seen conflicting reports where DeAndre Hunter's like, I don't want to leave. I like it here. What do you make of kind of all of this DeAndre Hunter storm?
I think there's a couple things to it. So I listened to Danny Cunningham on Locked On Cavs talk about it, and he kind of said that he's like, look, I'm around the team. I've talked to a lot of people within the team. DeAndre Hunter has never vocalized to the Cavaliers that he does not want to be in Cleveland. It's like, that's not saying he doesn't want to be. He's like, I just haven't heard it, and no one in the front office has heard it either. So if there is something, it's in the way that these things normally go in the NBA, it's a team wants to trade for a guy like that. It's a team like that wants to kind of stack up and get players and kind of go and, or get some guys they can get to where they can dump some salary. That's when they put it out there. So I don't think this was leaked by the Cavs. I don't necessarily know if this was leaked by DeAndre Hunter. It sounds like there's a team out there that wants DeAndre Hunter. And I know before someone hops in, they're like, no one wants him because he hasn't played very well. I get it. But his talent level is still very, very good. You saw tonight. He was great tonight. So there are teams that probably feel like they can get him back to his old self. And also, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers believe they're a team that can get him back to his old self.
I think they can. And I think, like I said, it just comes with consistency. Nobody on this team, unless your name is Donovan Mitchell, has been consistent this season.
Sure.
The lineups haven't been consistent. The coaching hasn't been consistent. The play on the floor hasn't been consistent. Other than Lonzo Ball, he's been pretty consistent. Just on the other side of it.
Hey, he played pretty well tonight in his 7 minutes.
Hey, I mean, I'll take a good 7 minutes from Lonzo.
So
but
here's the thing I'll say about that, though. And you're not wrong by any means, but also in that sense, you got to think about it this way, Skylar. Other than Donovan Mitchell, who's been fully healthy the whole year?
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Hunter is the next closest with 36 games logged. Well, I guess 37 games logged up to now. And what are we at? Just over 40?
42.
So DeAndre Hunter has been the next healthiest person on this team.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that as an excuse. I just think that plays into the consistency when, you show up to shoot around, you have no idea who's going to be available.
Right.
That plays a part. And I think that matters a lot. And like, I think, Mobley's had stretches where he's looked really, really frustrating, but he's also had stretches like tonight where he was excellent. In that Minnesota game, he was excellent. Honestly, I thought the Utah game, he was really good. I just think the team around him wasn't.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
But if we want to close the chapter on the Jazz game and kind of look at tonight's game against Philly, which was very inspiring because it was a very healthy Philly team, a very good, I don't want to say good because they were like title contenders and they're not quite title contenders anymore, but they're not bad by any means. They're still a very good team. And the Cavs came out like last year, honestly. Like this was the night that it felt like last year's Cavs where the ball movement was incredible. The defense was incredible. Getting back and running the floor was incredible tonight.
It really was. They went wire to wire tonight. That was fun to see. It just felt like there was urgency. I think that they took that loss to Utah personally. And honestly, I would not be surprised if that loss to Utah was the best thing to happen to this team. I would not be surprised if that was like okay, enough's enough. Because now it's January, the calendar's flipped, and it's time to get into gear. I mean, I think the way Windhorse put it the other day is they're at the 30-yard line on the season. Because even though they're past the halfway point in games played, this is when the fun really begins. This stretch before the trade deadline and the All-Star break. But what you saw tonight was the Cavaliers, right? It was what we suspected they would be. And Mitchell, awesome, was now his 12th 30-point game of the year, I think they said.
I have to look.
Mobley had a double-double with 4 blocks. Darius Garland, before he leaves the game, has 20 points. He looks great in that game. DeAndre Hunter looks awesome. It was just a really good performance all around, man. It's a game that I think they needed. And like you said, like a really good Philadelphia team. I mean, they held Tyrese Maxey to one of his worst games of the year. Joel Embiid didn't even get to play in the fourth quarter because the way the game was going. And yeah, I mean, Evan Mobley definitely had the matchup advantage of the 4 because Trenton Wofford and what the heck is the other guy's name? It's slipping my mind. They're 2-way guys who are basically getting all their Sixers power forward minutes right now. Forgive me, I'm pulling up the box score just so I have his name. And
Barlow?
Dominic Barlow, thank you, who's a really good player. But
Also got hurt tonight.
Yeah, also got hurt tonight. So Barlow and Wofford are the guys playing their power forward minutes for them right now because Andre Drummond has been that bad. He can't see the floor consistently for the Sixers. And Mobley took full advantage of that. And I think those are the games where you're like, yes, this is the Evan Mobley that we know he can be. And it played a huge part in tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean, more than just Evan Mobley, who obviously, like, when he gets out early in the game, you're like, oh man. You kind of realize, I think Wendy put it in the halftime break, like, this is the kind of game that drives Cavs fans nuts because Evan Mobley will come out like gangbusters in the first half and go radio silent in the second half. And that wasn't tonight. He kind of contributed all the way through.
I feel like he's contributed full games a lot of late, actually. Even the loss to Utah, I mean, the box score, he was pretty solid.
As of late, yes. I mean, I think we're just all stuck in that, like, playoff last year where he comes out great and then can't even find the way to make a shot or get a shot attempt in the second half where you really need him.
I thought he was actually pretty decent in the Indiana series. He was like the only one, him and Mitchell, but
you're just gonna keep coming out trumping me, dude? What's up?
No, not at all. I just think that, like, for him, we all read it, we all see that, like, people just are like so hard on him, and you understand why he's held to a higher standard. He's a max player, he's defensive player of the year, he's all NBA. He was the third pick in his draft, but people talk about him like he's, Timothy Mozgov. I'm like, guys, he's really fucking good at basketball. Like, I don't understand why you guys treat him so badly here, because I'd swear to you, if Evan Mobley was not the power forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers, you think the defense is disappointing now. Wait till you see if he's not on the floor every night.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. Is the defensive prowess that he brings, especially when you see it tonight. I mean, 4 block shots, a steal, and just led the team in plus minus and leading. Oh, I guess Donovan Mitchell technically led with a plus 29, but still, to be plus 27 on your plus minus with only 17 points, I mean, you're really getting it done on every other point of the game. I mean, you're blocks, you're altering shots, you're preventing Joel Embiid from getting up and
100%.
getting what he wanted all the time.
Yeah, I mean, down the stretch of the game, he's the one that drew Paul George. And Paul George isn't the scorer he used to be, but Paul George is still a really good, point of attack defender. And I thought Mobley played really well against him.
Yes, very well. Another person I really wanted to highlight was Darius Garland, who was looking incredible. I mean, he was picking apart the defense so well, 7 assists, and really, I would say half of a game. I mean, he left pretty early in that third quarter with a right foot injury, which is terrible. But the good news is his left foot was the one that had surgery in the offseason. So I don't know what to make of that. I hope it is nothing and that this is precautionary, but the way that he lingered on the floor, limped off, and got brought back to the room or back to the locker room, man, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, it's a lot of wait and see, but it's a very big anxiety wait and see. I suspect even if it's not a big deal, I'm not saying it is or isn't, but I'd suspect he doesn't play Friday. I think it's going to be a thing where they're probably just going to let it be. They've got the weekend off before the OKC game on Monday, and it's an early game on Monday. So I would guess that since he left this game early, he's probably not going to see the floor on Friday.
There's a good chance of that. I hope it's just Friday because we've seen how putrid this team is, and the offense specifically without Darius Garland.
Yes.
Because
yes.
Boy, I mean, and Craig Porter Jr. came in that second half of this game and really slotted in well. But man, when Darius Garland came back and was healthy, it was night and day difference on what this team looked like.
Yeah, man. Once he found his rhythm, and you and I talked about it a lot last season, just his ability to get to the paint is second to none. And once he started doing that again, it wasn't that he was just sitting there waiting for a 3-point shot. Now the 3-point shot is definitely looking better of late. But seeing him kind of be that guy that we loved, we talked about a lot last year. It was the guy that got to the paint and made a decision from there. Do I dish it out if they attack? If they try to get the ball into my hands? Do I go ahead and put a layup in because they came ahead of me? Do I drop it off to who's in the dunker spot, whether it's Jared or Evan or anybody else? And he was so good at basically running the point guard option there and what decision he can make. And you were starting to slowly see that again. So like you said, obviously for the sake of being Cavs fans, we want our point guard. But obviously too, for the sake of he's finally playing well as a basketball fan, you're like, damn it, this sucks. And sorry, I dropped an F-bomb earlier. I just, I've been holding that one in.
We all good. Unfortunately, Darius Garland wasn't the only injury that the Cavs suffered tonight. They also lost Sam Merrill with another wrist injury, which sucks because it was the same wrist and a wrist injury that sidelined him for 14 games. And I'm not poo-pooing on Sam because Sam has been excellent for the Cavs this season. His shooting has been incredible. But what's that old adage? The best ability is availability. And Sam is one of those guys that just keeps getting these kind of ticky-tack things. And it sucks to have to like live through as I don't want to say can't power through because guys get bumped and bruised all the time. And I'm not saying he's not or anything like that, but it does seem much more frequently with him that he gets sidelined by something than Donovan Mitchell or anybody else that is getting a lot more physical attention.
Yeah, you're right. That certainly feels that way. And it's certainly frustrating because you're kind of wondering like, when is it going to kind of be a thing where you can count on him to be on the floor consistently? But I'm hoping this is another just kind of, was an awkward hit on the hand and we'll be fine. But yeah, obviously, I'm more worried about this one being a long-term thing than I am Darius.
Agreed.
Just because obviously history says and what we've gone through this year. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he's 8th in the league in 3-point percentage. Jalen Tyson's like 12th. Did you have Jalen Tyson, the sniper, on your bingo card for the 25-26 season?
Not the sniper. Not at all.
No.
I listened to you. Maniac, maybe.
I listened to you and Kevin kind of talk about him being this year's Ty Jerome, and I thought you were 100% right, but I did not think it would be to this extent. Better defender than Ty Jerome, obviously, but better, more of an athlete, but scoring while also being that good athlete too. So, yeah, I think it sucks, but also like we just kind of talked about there as well. They have guys who can patch those minutes together and have had the situation where they've been able to. Jalen Tyson, whenever Dean Wade comes back, whatever the hell this is with his knee. Tyrese Proctor's a guy that when he's been trusted to play big minutes, I don't think it's been disappointing by any means. But still a guy who
performed as rookie.
Yeah, he's been exactly what you expect from the 40. He's been better than what you expected from the 49th pick in the draft, right? Like I think that's the best way to put it. But yeah, I'm not as like freaking out this time around just because I feel like we're kind of in a groove now for the season. And even with some bad losses here and there, I still feel like this team is playing much better and going in the right direction.
I would agree. And obviously the standings is great too, because they've been living in that play-in area. And now it seems like they're finally starting to gain some ground and make up ground within the playoff area. Philly was the team that was directly ahead of them. Let me pull up the standings real quick because I don't know if they leaped them tonight or not.
I don't know if they leaped them quite yet. Let me pull this up real quick. So technically still with the games to go tonight, they're now tied with Orlando for the 6th spot, who they see in a couple weeks. And they're a half a game behind Philly. Yep.
And Philly's in the 5th spot really because they dropped that Utah game. They actually slid a little. But you're a half game from being in the 5th seed. That's pretty good. If you can find your way back into that Boston, New York area, you feel a little bit better. You feel accomplished on the season. And hopefully all of these little mounting ticky-tack injuries or anything like that, hopefully those kind of tail off and you have a good, healthy squad with fresh legs who able to make the playoff run, because that's ultimately what this team is built to achieve or with the goal to achieve. And I really hope that this is the year that they can go the distance and make it to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, if not a Finals appearance.
So let me ask you this, because I was just having this conversation with somebody literally during the game tonight over text message. Look at the teams ahead of them in the Eastern Conference right now. And I'm not saying that they would beat every single one of these teams. I certainly don't know if I feel that way or not. This is just me kind of making conversation, good pod content. How many of those teams ahead of them do you fully trust would beat them 4 times in a playoff series? Like, I think they would lose to the Knicks in a playoff series right now, the way things are
That's the
standing.
only team I would pick.
Correct. Yes. So when people are like freaking out because I think they're 4-9 combined against the teams ahead of them right now in the seedings, I still don't like Detroit. I think Detroit's a great story. I don't trust them in the playoffs yet. I'm not saying that they can't potentially do it. I just am not there quite yet. Boston, they've been really, really good. I don't see, Jaylen Brown by himself in that case. Now, if Jason Tatum comes back and he's 60% of Jason Tatum, I'm scared. New York definitely feel that way. I feel nervous about them. Philly, I think that they're just a team that doesn't know how to win the playoffs either. And then Toronto, I don't know how many series you can win with Scotty Barnes as your best player. And that's not a knock on Scotty Barnes.
Toronto is like the island of misfit toys. Like it's kind of a weird roster, but they're making it work and they're performing. But I
they're
agree.
apparently a big Anthony Davis team.
They're getting in on Anthony Davis.
That's who said that tonight? Was it Shams? I think Shams said it tonight on NBA Countdown.
Why?
I don't know, man. I understand. Like if I'm the Bulls, I am doing what I can to get Anthony Davis or Zion Williamson, because it's a buy low situation. Actually, it's not really buy low for either of them financially, but they're a team that really only cares about selling tickets anyway. So a better way to sell tickets than go and get one of those guys who you can, for your, 22 games you'll have of them at the United Center every year.
So, I mean, you're kind of leading in. We're getting to, what are we, 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. Is there anybody on your target list? Is there anybody on your bingo card? Like, how do you think this team gets better outside of, I would say, like the generic just being able to play together because everybody's always hurt?
Yeah. I've been messing around with the Spot Track trade machine app and having way too much fun with it. Our buddy Justin Rowan sent me a message the other day because I posted the Darius Garland for Josh straight up trades. And I was like, I'm just kidding. I would never do this. But there are definitely some things. So it sounds like the way the campus, like things that are coming out of Dean Wade's campus, he suspects he will be moved. I don't necessarily know if that's the best plan. I don't know if that's something where I'm dropping him as a salary dump just because of his defensive ability. But it sounds like that's on the table. I know I joked with you and Kevin about I think I would trade for Ben Mathurin because the Pacers have made it loud and clear that they are not planning on him being part of the long-term future because they got to have an odd man out. They're going to have, a top 3 or 4 pick next year, which is going to really piss me off when Tyrese Haliburton and AJ DeBan's are kicking ass in the East. And then they've got Siakam, they're getting Haliburton back. So, if there's a way that they can get Mathurin, and I know everyone's like, well, you can't play Mathurin and Hunter together. We've seen this a million times in the NBA where these guys who didn't like each other all of a sudden get on the same team and they work out. Pat Beverly and Russell Westbrook played on the same team together. Like, it happened. Lance Stevenson and LeBron played on the same team together. But yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be a marginal, and in the margins trade you're going to see them make. So a Ben Mathurin is a guy that I'm targeting. It makes some sense. I've thought about Kevin Love because I'm not saying Kevin Love's going to take them to the finals by any means, but I thought that makes sense because Utah probably doesn't want him at this point because of the timelines. And he apparently has been pretty open about wanting to finish his career in Cleveland. And I think that we're still seeing him where, no, he's not, 2015-16 Kevin Love by any means, but still a decent guy to put in a corner and hit some shots for you. And, I don't know if you can really necessarily make it fit with him and Thomas Bryant, but I wouldn't hate seeing Kevin Love play his last couple of years in Cleveland.
No, I think Kevin Love would be a great addition, not only for what he gives you on the court, but off the court, in the sense of he knows what it takes to go the distance. He's meant to
That's so underrated. Actually, literally before last year, every time he made the playoffs, he was in the finals.
Really?
Because the one year his first year with Miami, they made the playoffs and went to the championship.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make it in 24, and then 25 is when they played Cleveland in the first round, and Cleveland swept them. So that was the first time that he ever went to the playoffs that he did not go to the finals.
Wow. So I mean that's a guy that just like if I'm Kenny Atkinson, that's a guy that I'm like, get me Kevin Love.
I think that, like, and I think that's why you can make a situation of a Thomas Bryant, because Thomas Bryant, I know is not the most popular name, but was just in the finals last year, won in the finals the year before. So he's a guy who's also made the long run too. So I think there's a way that maybe, I don't know, maybe there's too many bigs because you're going to have to sign Naquan to a long-term extension to a rest of the year deal soon. But I don't know. I think they can get crafty and creative. And that's where I probably think Dean Wade's probably an odd man out in that case if they do go that route. But we shall see. I mean, Naquan Thomas for sure going to get at least rest of the season contract, probably a 1-and-1.
Yeah, probably. Kevin Love is a good name. The name that I actually had also in Indiana was Nembhard. I love an Andrew Nembhard.
Yes. Did you come up with a trade yet? Have you figured out
It's pretty close to, I mean, it's under Lonzo Ball money. So the Cavs can, the way that the aprons work, the Cavs can, the salaries don't really have to match because the Cavs are getting out of the apron or coming out of their apron. So they could put Alonzo Ball some picks and with it being an expiring contract, make that work.
Buddy, I've had a basketball crush on Andrew Nembhard since he was at Florida. I like one time it was when I was covering Xavier. They played Florida in the Charleston Classic Finals. And it was right before he transferred to Gonzaga. And I'm just like watching this dude just put up 3 after 3. And I'm like, this kid's legit. And like, I text my scout buddy. He's like, he won't make in the league. I'm like, what are you really? And like, now he's pretty darn good.
Pretty great. I would love a Nembhard. I don't know if he's in Indiana's long-term endeavor or whatnot. I'm not as keen on Indiana's beat writing, but that would be a guy that, all right, you get some playmaking off the bench, you get some scoring bench, and some pretty dang good defense off the bench because Nembhard, he's one of those like guys that just have a dog in him.
I think Lonzo being moved to the Pacers, which you and I both have mocked trades for this happens, makes sense for him to, not in the sense that like, I'm not fully giving up on Lonzo Ball. I think that there could be a situation where Lonzo could be beneficial to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just don't know what it is at the moment besides point of attack perimeter defense. But his just, obviously his fear to drive to the paint is just really maddening, as we all know, watching this team on a nightly basis. But a team like Indiana, where there's no pressure on him and he can kind of just play ball, and whoever gets him, if he doesn't end the year in Cleveland, has that option to see if they want to pick him up for next season and he can try to prove himself. Tyrese Halliburton and Lonzo Ball next year as your point guard, like depth could be pretty interesting with how long and tall those guys are. So, I think that the Pacers would make a really good, if they wanted to do it, makes sense as a Lonzo Ball trade partner if, both parties decide to go their separate ways.
I'm down for it. And I don't want to seem like I'm poo-pooing on Lonzo Ball.
No. Look, but there's no denying he's been extremely disappointing.
Very. And like, I'm on record, I'm on this podcast saying that he's my 6th man of the year.
Buddy, I put the bet in FanDuel.
You should have cashed out immediately.
Yeah. I know. I put $4 down and I was like, we'll give it a run. And then it was like 10 games and I was like, this isn't happening.
But
yeah, my Luka MVP case isn't looking too good anymore either.
No,
it's too many guys playing too well right now.
And so not to poo-poo on Lonzo, like I do, like you said, if he's in a lower pressure, less scrutiny team, when he came back for Chicago, he wasn't horrible because Chicago had no championship expectations, where this Cavs team, with the magical run that they had last year, obviously are going to garner more attention, more eyes, more critics. And I don't think that's doing him any service. And for the point that you made, the inability to drive to the hole, to break up down a defense, that's something that think he needs to get over, and the only way you're going to do that is if repetition and playing, and his minutes are getting lower and lower for this Cavs team. So going to a team that isn't in any kind of state right now, being able to have those reps, I think it would do him a lot of good. And like you said, there is an option to pick up his team option if he goes out. And I do want that for him. I want the best for the guy.
Yeah, I did too. Let me ask you this. Where are you now on Larry Nance Jr.? So tonight was his first minutes he saw since he came back. You and I both were really big on bringing him back last season, but obviously had an injury this year. Got some DMP CDs before he was declared out. Had some okay moments, but like really the Larry Nance Jr. minutes this year have not been very good. Are you in the belief that you think he's going to end up contributing to this team, or is there a situation where if they get Kevin Love, that Larry Nance Jr. is on his way to Utah?
I would think Larry Nance is on his way to Utah if it involves Kevin Love, which you hate because we're all so excited about Larry Nance. He was excited about coming back.
It's a deal that made a lot of sense. Yeah.
And I think that Larry Nance could contribute to this team. He's just been out for so long that I can't even remember what his contributions were before he got injured.
Wasn't many.
Let alone, I know they were few and far between, but with what we've seen out of Thomas Bryant, I mean, are you getting anything more from Larry Nance that Thomas Bryant's not providing?
Yeah, man. I'm way bigger on Thomas Bryant than I thought I'd be, to be honest with you. I'm like, oh, it'd be a nice last big, and I'm like, nice playing the Tristan Thompson role, and I knew he could shoot the three a little bit, obviously. But I was like, man, he's been it's like when he's in there, he definitely turns the energy up, and he's had some really nice moments. So I'm like, I'm open to him getting 11, 12 minutes a game if they get in the right situation, but definitely not in a postseason. I definitely understand in a playoff series why he's not going to play.
Yeah. And I mean, would you expect Larry Nance Jr. to play in the playoffs?
I don't think I would right now, but I could see a route where he could be available just because he has the ability to guard 3 through 5. And I think that matters. But this also plays in the point of if Larry Nance Jr. does finish the season with the Cavs and he's there when they go in the playoffs, is Dean Wade still on the team? Because that's going to play a part to do you need him? The buyout market, really, you haven't heard anything about potential buyout candidates yet this year. So that could be really interesting as well. I will say this. I saw a fake trade on Kevin O'Connor's show that I am really annoyed by. And I don't know if you saw this as well, but it really pissed me off. Even though the guy has been awesome this year and makes a lot of sense as a Cleveland Cavalier. He pitched that Darius Garland get traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Michael Porter Jr. Now, Michael Porter Jr. has the case to be an all-star if he's on a better team this year. Don't get me wrong, but why?
That's you're just not addressing the points of this team. We just said how incredible this offense is when Darius Garland is healthy and playing. Not only himself, but those around him look better because he's driving the hole, breaking up a defense. He's got a plethora of tricks in his bag. I don't want to lose that at all. Especially if you sell on Darius Garland, you're selling low, quite frankly, because you're selling at the lowest value.
I saw someone pitched a Maverick swap Darius for Kyrie, and I was like, why? Kyrie plays less than Darius.
Yeah, he plays way less than Darius and is way, way older.
Yeah. I
think he's 10 years older.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to what we just kind of talked about with Love. He could probably help them, because he's been to the finals 5 times in his career as well. No, 4 times. But also, what does that do for the timeline of either team? And I don't know if I love a Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie Irving tandem.
I mean, there's only one basketball.
It's not even that because, it's another thing that pissed me off. You see this thing where Kenyon Martin tried to say that Donovan Mitchell doesn't make anybody better?
I did see that.
Yeah. Idiots.
It's frustrating when the national media have they really didn't cover the Cavs as much as they should have last year, and now they're coming in
and just poo-pooing all over them
last year, and just coming in on their down season, and that's pretty frustrating.
It's immensely frustrating because if you want to say you're disappointed in how the Cavs have played so far, that is 100% justifiable, and you're right. If you want to say that this can't work because of how things have gone in the past, I understand why you feel that way. I do not feel that way, especially this year of all years in the Eastern Conference. Now, do I think when I hear idiots say they need to blow it up and it's just it's impossible? I think that's so stupid. But I'm not ready to quit on this team yet. I'm not in panic mode. I think part of the reason they have been so bad is just because they have been battling through all these injuries year in and year out. There's definitely some stuff that has to get, the urgency has to get back, and they're not going to beat every team by 27 points like they did tonight per se. But if they just go out there and play like they did play tonight and just play hard, we know what they can do.
For sure. And I wonder how many years people were telling, oh, Golden State's got to blow it up. They got to blow it up. These guys can't get there until they did. And then nobody was calling for them to blow it up until, obviously everybody got old.
Look at Oklahoma City. Those guys lost for how long? Mm-hmm. I remember going to Rocket Arena and watching a really bad Thunder team with Shea and Lou Dort and watching Evan Mobley in his rookie year just destroy them.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was my first non-LeBron Cavs game of my life, actually. And just being like, I don't see this ever happening. I knew Shea was going to be incredible. But I was like, I don't see the Thunder ever putting this dynasty together as they are. I don't know, but they just lost to the Hornets at home by a lot. Should they blow it up too? I mean, if that's the game we're playing.
That's the thing. All these writers always have that kind of perspective. Everybody's a pessimist. You just got to believe. You got to believe in this team. You got to believe that with some form of consistency, mainly in the health department, this team can get its wheels from back under it. They're already starting to, like you alluded to. They're 8 of their last 13. Playing way better and playing
good wins.
I would say more convincing basketball.
Yeah. I mean, good win. I mean, even the Minnesota loss, I thought they played pretty well.
Yeah.
Minnesota just shot the lights out. And then the Minnesota win, Minnesota shot the lights out again. I don't think they're really that bad defensively. I know 134 points is pretty jaw-dropping, but I thought Minnesota just had one of their incredibly streaky shooting there for a while, and they do that. But the San Antonio win's great. They have the bad losses. The Golden State loss is a bad loss. The 2 Chicago losses are bad losses. But now is going into February. I think now we're going to kind of see who this team really is.
I'd hope so. And I do hope they make some moves to get better or in the spirit to get better. I hope, and I don't care for Dan Gilbert's money. He can spend his money however he wants, but
I don't know why people care so much about that stuff.
If he's willing to pay that luxury tax, who cares? Who cares if they're in the second apron? It doesn't matter. Dan Gilbert can spend his money however he sees fits. But I do hope that he keeps in the pursuit of getting a championship instead of, holy cow, I'm paying all this money. I need to stop paying all this. I need to find a way to stop paying all this money.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. You and I are the 2 people in the world who just happen to have covered professional teams in Cleveland and Cincinnati. And we have to bang our heads against the wall because the team in Cincinnati does not want to spend money. I would rather take this where they go all in and it's not going the way we thought it would, than it could be great if they just put a little more out there.
Oh, don't get me started on that team from Cincinnati. They drive me up the wall every single day. But
yep.
At least the Cavs give me joy every other day.
Yeah. I think they're, what are they now? The last 2.5 years, I think they're 52-34 after a loss. The game after a loss now.
Really?
It's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So with that, we'll go ahead and get up out of here. Tim, thank you again for joining us. And I know you got some stuff in the works, so please come back on when you have announcements for the world.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry I always hijack your show when you invite me on here. I just have missed talking basketball on a microphone for a long time. But I always appreciate when you have me on, and Kevin can also have me on to join him if he ever wants to as well. I'm not just partial to you.
Well, I think it's just because I don't miss. I don't take sick days, dude. And not that Kevin's taking sick days. Just he's crazy busy work schedule, travel schedule. So
life.
For that, we'll get up out of here. Thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of the Block the Shot Stop. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to drive content there and want to grow that, and subscribe to the audio version of this podcast on all of the platforms. We're on all of them. Be a friend, tell a friend. We're just Cavs fans trying to make good content for other Cavs fans. So for Tim Daniel, Skylar Webker, we're going to get out of here. And as always,
go Cavs.